Our next artist was part of the Visual Arts of South Asian Festival. Vallari M is a 20-year-old artist who paints as a therapeutic hobby away from academic life. Having been away from her home country most of her life, she paints using mostly acrylic medium to remain in touch with not only her own culture, but to learn about other cultures as well, keeping her point of focus diverse. Vallari's art journey began as a child who loved drawing for fun.
So to be honest, as a child, I was always interested in art and I would draw, paint, or even sculpt. But when I first came to Canada about 10 years ago, my first art teacher was actually Aparna Ranglikar, who is a recognized local artist and the festival director of the annual VASA Arts Festival. She's the one who actually helped me further develop my talent and provided me with the basic tools that would eventually lead me to further explore my own art. Ultimately, as my academic responsibilities as a student took over, I had such a little time for myself that art really became a healthy coping mechanism, as well as a form of self-care for me. I started to paint again during my later teens, and I realized that I can combine my avid interest in my cultural history along with my joy to create. And then combining this form of self-care with my need to explore my cultural identity, I find a therapeutic sense of peace with having the ability to find meaning, peace, and satisfaction by creating art, especially the kind that helps express the uniqueness of who I am as a young immigrant South Asian woman.
Growing up, there were a number of different artists who inspired Vallari along the way, with the biggest one being someone close to her.
My biggest inspiration probably is my mother when it comes to art. See, the thing is, art comes in so many shapes and forms that it leads me to believe that there is art in every person. Creativity is such a fluid concept. My mother's name is Komo, which literally translates to tender, beautiful, and delicate. Without a doubt, she is gifted through her ability to make whatever she creates look breathtaking and quite literally beautiful. Whether it be festival decorations, an idea for a new art piece, a fashion look, or even the presentation of dishes. She finds a way to make her creation, her vision, to be memorable and representative of her fine taste through vibrant colors, intricate designs, and I'm constantly in awe of her raw talent. And I find that mothers truly are our very first teachers when it comes to anything and everything. I'm constantly grateful for her encouragement and her constant nurturing of my art. She's my only and constant influence. Most people look at Van Gogh, Da Vinci, Picasso, but honestly, my first exposure to art was my mother.
Surrounded by various influences, Vallari has been able to craft her own artistic process when faced with a blank canvas.
Honestly, I could be anywhere and my brain will just click. And once my brain clicks and I get that inspiration, and I realize I need to make my vision come alive, the first thing I do is I do my research. So while I have my vision, it is simply a rough, blurry visualization of the final print. And that is why I like to look up the historical relevance and the potential variety of designs that the piece would require. For example, in one of my previous entries to the VASA Arts Festival, it's called the Jharoka, which is an Indian form of a window which has intricate designs, and it can often come as woodwork. And when I painted that, I must have scoured honestly every corner of Google and Pinterest to get inspired. And once I found some historically relevant inspiration and I had some samples of designs and colors I wanted, it was full steam ahead. When I'm making my pieces, I really like to be historically relevant, and that's why I research first, which then allows me to figure out how to add my own unique signature to it. And then honestly, I just let my brain and my hands take the lead.
The pandemic has obviously taken a toll on visual artists. For Vallari, it's been an eye-opening experience which has taught her a lot about her skills.
The pandemic gave me so much time to create, whereas in a regular scenario, I'm a full-time student, so it's very difficult to find time despite having inspiration and a list of different pieces I want to bring to light. So the pandemic really gave me time to sit and reflect on what my art truly is. And before, I didn't really have much of a style or much of a theme to my art. But once I had more time to reflect and think about what it is that I want to bring to light in my work, it really, really helped me further develop my art and my talent.
With this experience, Vallari feels well equipped for the future.
Knowing that there are like-minded individuals like me in such a short community that I live in, it makes me really optimistic, and it tells me that I should continue to create because hopefully there is someone out there like me who is unsure about putting her art out there. And especially being an immigrant who has been so out of touch with her culture and didn't really have a chance to be have that primary exposure. So I'm sitting here trying to learn more about my culture. I hope that my art gets those people to be optimistic and tells them that you know, despite being away from home, you can still learn, and there are so many fluid ways you can learn. For example, how I do through art.
And if Vallari was to put her art into a capsule and someone discovered it 50 years from now, here's how she would want them to feel.
I would want them to know that this is someone who has never had the chance to firsthand experience her cultural identity due to being far away from home, but is making the effort to learn and express her understanding that in a modern world, express her understanding of this in a modern world through her work. This is someone who wants to be able to continue the tradition and pass down her culture to her descendants, but in a manner that applies to the modern and progressive climate that we are in today, and hopefully in a more progressive climate that we will be in another generation.